Welcome, college football fans, and of course, Pitt fans. Welcome to another episode of Talking College Football with JJ Kitchen. Of course, I'm your host, JJ Kitchen. Today, guys, this is one that's been well overdue. This is a guy that's a true leader, someone with high character, a man that's been at Pitt his entire career, a great career to say the least, but someone that I think most people would understand and Pitt fans understand, a true Pitt man, a guy that loves Pitt through thick and thin, and that's Marquis Williams. How you doing, brother?
How you doing, Mr. JJ Kitchen? I appreciate you for having me on the show this evening. I appreciate all the blessings coming from your way, and I'm ready to go. Let's get to it.
That's great, man. I'll tell you what, the amount of times that, we talked a little bit before, in the back where we were talking about how, Pitt fans have really been asking for you just to talk to you because you are truly a fan favorite. But also, too, man, your confidence is one that is very much attractable and likable, where fans see that, and it's someone, especially in your position. I think that is so important. But before we dive into that, right now, talk to the fans right now. Here we are in the middle of June. Spring ball just finished up. Before we start talking about that, go in a little bit. What is it like as a Pitt athlete right now? Are you guys practicing? Is it just workouts? What all do you guys do right now in the middle of June?
Being a Pitt athlete right now at the moment, we working out. We doing summer workouts. We lift and run every day. So we working from Monday to Friday. Saturday we go in for extra work as well. Very proud of the guys. A lot of people is going in on Saturday and getting more work, getting extra work, taking care of their bodies and stuff like that. So it's definitely a grind in June. Um, Coming out of June and July, you get ready for camp. So it's definitely a grind in June right now. So everybody trying to stay on top of it. Everybody trying to move at one pace, and we trying to all get to the ultimate goal.
It's funny you talk about just doing the extra work. And from talking to a number of different teams, there's a lot of guys that sometimes you gotta push them into that direction, or you gotta make guys want to go in to get that extra work. Talk about is it really like the whole entire Pitt team right now getting in the extra work, and is it the culture that you guys have built, especially your time being there and the amount of success that you had. Talk about, the extra work that you guys are putting in. Is it collective? Is it just a couple guys, or is it just the whole mantra, the whole culture of what Pitt is? Is it really just all you guys going in for extra work?
It's definitely a collective. After each, practice on the field, we tell everybody come together as a team. Everybody talk, all the leaders come together. Everybody got a voice out there. Everybody could voice their opinion and things like that. It's a plethora of leaders, that is getting everybody together and establish this, getting everybody the extra work, making sure each position group is in the meetings. A lot of that come along with the leaders in that position group. So it's a leader in each position group. So that's how you stay on top of it. Just having the leader on of each position group, and then you just make sure that y'all all on one accord. So I mean, I say it's a blessing. Just being with everybody and everybody fired up and ready to go. I think we have a young team full of guys that's ready to go and play football to the bus out. I think we're gonna make a run this year. I think it's gonna be better than that 2020 season.
And I'll tell you what, it's great that you talk about the young team and bringing guys together. When it comes to spring ball, there's a lot of guys that are out there. You really start fresh. It's the beginning of technically the new year, even though it's only March and April. It's so early on in the year. But in spring ball, what did you see so far? Obviously you guys got a number of guys returning back, but you're going to have a number of guys stepping up. And one of the things I noticed is that really just the amount of just confidence that you guys have consistently every single year. Talk about how did spring ball go, and especially for the DB room. Everyone knows Marquis Williams, AJ Woods, MJ Devonshire. What other guys, especially in that room, do you see stepping up this year that have been a very good portion so far after spring?
I definitely yeah, you're right. You do got the corners, me, MJ, AJ. But to be honest, we have a plethora of DBs that could get in and play football right now. Rylan Gandy, Noah Bigelow, Crumpley. It's a plethora of guys. Rashad Battle. It's a plethora of guys just waiting to sitting on the side, just waiting to play. And like we preach every day in the DB room, you never know when it's your opportunity. You never know when it's your time. So stay ready. And so in that DB room, we always ready. as you can watch the game, we play 3 to 4 corners a game. So you getting in, we rotating guys, making sure guys have a breather, things like that. So I say it's a blessing to have a lot of guys in the room that could play college football. If the game was tomorrow, we wouldn't have to think twice about who the fourth corner, who the fifth corner, or who could go in. I feel like in the DB room, everybody could go out there and play right now, and that's a blessing, like I said, because you need everybody in the room to be physically and mentally ready. Because you never know, college football is a long season. It's a lot of crazy things happen with injuries and a plethora of things like that. So it's the most important thing is that I preach to the young guys is just to stay ready. You never know when it's your time.
Yeah, and it's cool how you talk about just it could be anybody's moment to step up, and obviously, spring ball, you're starting to find out who could potentially step up, the more depth you guys have. But I think the first moment that we kind of saw that depth was really the UCLA game. There's a lot of chatter. You're a guy that doesn't really back down from anything, and that's why really what makes you a real Pitt guy. And I think that's kind of the mantra, and you guys take after Pat Narduzzi. He's a guy that really doesn't mince words. He calls it a 937 The Fan. He's joking around with Adam Crowley about West Virginia, and really just listening to you guys, especially after that game. It's crazy. You saw the depth on display, especially defense. In that UCLA game. Now you guys go into spring ball. When you see those guys, the different guys come up and your leadership, you're there. You got MJ Devonshire, obviously you got Shane Simon still. You've got Dayon Hayes there. On the defensive side of the ball, is it collective to where there's leadership there? Or do you guys rely on each other? Do a lot of guys rely on you, someone who's very confident, outspoken, someone who really push people to the best of their limits? What does it look like right now with the leadership on the defense?
Honestly, I think that the leadership on the defense is all around the field, from D line to linebackers to safety. We got a fifth year, 6 year on the D line. We got a fifth year, 6 year at the linebacker position. We got a fifth year, 6 year at the DB position. I think we winning. I think we winning this offseason. We went in UCLA game with like 9 or 10 people missing, and we still fought together with the young team we had, and we came together and got the victory. So sky's the limit for this team, I believe, and I think we're gonna reach Mountain High this year.
And that's good to hear. And when you go into, again, spring practice, you love to hear the amount of just voices collectively. You guys are just generally leaders. Anybody that ever comes to Pitt, one of the first things they talk about is the guys that commit to Pitt were former captains on their high school team, which says a lot about, one, the performance, but two, just the mentality and the confidence that person has to be able to lead a different group. When it comes to your cornerback room, obviously you guys are all confident. When you guys go against the wide receivers that are there in practice right now, who would you say right now with the team? Obviously, you lost Jared Wayne, a guy he's NFL bound with the Houston Texans. You guys had a hell of a group go to the NFL draft this year between Kalijah Cansey, everybody else, which was absolutely phenomenal. Right now in practice, when you look at these wide receivers and new groups, you got Day Reynolds, a new guy that's there, but you still got Kanate, you still got Bub Means, Izzy Polk, a guy that's brand new, Lamar Seymour. When you look at that group right now when you're in practice, who would you say right now is the guy that kind of pushes you to be the best player that you can be when you're facing them?
Honestly, I'm not gonna discredit none of the receivers on that team. All of them is very, very good. The one thing I do say, our receiver team is very, very, very fast. So when we lining up, I'm old, so I'm old, so I gotta make sure my hamstrings and everything up to date when I get out there. But besides all that, I love all our receivers. Love competing with all of them compete at a very high level. But I love going against Kanante Montfield. Very shifty, very, 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 twitchy at the line of scrimmage. Get in and out his routes. He could double move you. He's fast. He's quick. And I love, guarding guys like that because I feel like, I need that type of stuff. So when they get in the game, I'll be ready for all the quickness and all the plethora of things that receivers bring to me. But, just going against Kanante Montfield, I feel like I get the best work ever because, going against him, he give me 110%. I give him 110%. You know, he had 14, I had 14. So at one point, we was going back and forth like I'm the better 14, I'm the better 14. We do one-on-ones and stuff like that, just competing. So Don't get me wrong, Bub, Day Day, Israel Pope, those guys are great. I love going against those guys as well. And yeah.
And it's so good to hear that. And a lot of Pitt fans really talk about that kind of stuff where you guys, whether it's the videos that come out from Pitt football on the official Pitt football Twitter account, when they really show those highlights, man, you guys are completely, I mean, it's going at it. It's almost like it's kind of like watching like an NFL practice to where you guys are going so hard every time. You guys are really actually pushing each other. And you can see the chatter going back and forth a little bit. And you really bring out the best of what you guys are doing. And it's so unique to watch that. When you're on those fields and you're walking off, do you guys ever just, when you're walking by the Steelers when they're at practice, is that a big thing for you guys to ever just sit down and watch how the NFL guys do it? Do you look at yourself and say, man, okay, hey, here's where I am, here's where they are. How do I get to that next level? Do you talk to them, ask them questions? What's your relationship like with the Steelers whenever you're on the South side?
First of all, I want to thank Coach Mike Tomlin. He's very understanding. He loved when, guys come around and hang around the practice and watch them practice. I say it's been a blessing to me since I came to college, just walking out that back door and seeing the NFL team practicing, just walking past them, seeing all the guys. It's just mind breaking, it's a bittersweet moment. Um, and my relationship with the Steelers, like me personally, I know everybody. Like me personally, I know everybody. James Pierre, Deontay Johnson, Trey Norwood, Pickens, Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
I'm friends with a lot of those guys, and they know me very well just for sticking around, watching practice and stuff like that. It's a blessing, man. I can't thank God enough for placing me in this wonderful university to be able to see all this stuff and accomplish my dreams by looking at where I want to be in the future.
Yeah, and it's one of the unique things where different colleges and different universities have these different types of pros and cons, but you guys get to go to a university where you're one of one. You get to work again right next to one of the best NFL franchises, one of the best NFL head coaches, and it's such a unique opportunity and experience, and especially when they show those videos when you guys have those conversations. It's really cool how those guys are almost like mentors to you guys, to where asking questions, bouncing things off each other. It's so cool to really watch that stuff. And it leads me to where, you're on your defense and you're looking at the way you guys play your defenses, which I got news for you. Pat Narduzzi's defense is not easy on a DB at all. It is
At
not
all.
easy. Go into how hard it is to play that, how athletic you need to be. And do you embrace the challenge? Is it one of those where you love how it's an attack style defense or it creates mismatches? How do you see playing in Pat Narduzzi's defense? How do you like it, or do you like the challenge?
I love the challenge. You gotta be a complete DB to come over here and play a Coach Pat Narduzzi defense. You gotta be willing to tackle. You gotta be pit tough. You gotta have a big heart. And most importantly, you gotta know how to cover with no help. Um, Everybody in the world know what type of defense we play. Quarters, it's a hard
Hmm.
defense. It's man versus man. So you gotta go out there each and every day and just win your matchup. Like Coach Dudes always preach, win your 1-11. When you run out down the field, win the matchup that's in front of you, and trust your teammates, your other 10 teammates, that they're gonna do the same as well. Um, and Coach Dudes, he's a great defensive coach. Coach Collins, my DB coach, Coach Sanders, Coach Bates, those are all great guys. I feel like they put us in a great position each and every game. Taking it from the classroom to the field, they put us in great position to make plays. They switch it up a little bit. Get allow us to be versatile back there in the back end as well as the whole entire defense. I think we have the best coaches in the country, by far. And like I said, it's a blessing just to have Coach Narduzzi as your coach and the plans inside his defense. Because getting to the next level, it's great for it's great for NFL coaches to see you inside this type of defense. Because everybody know this is the hardest defense you could be in. You quarters man, they'll line you up. You go line up to the field just by yourself. It's just you versus him. So I feel like it's the best defense ever to play in this defense to get your confidence level up to get ready and play football.
Yeah, and I, it was kind of cool how you mentioned a little bit about it, and I don't think they get a lot of credit or enough credit. and that's Archie Collins and Corey Sanders. I mean, you guys, you know, obviously Narduzzi had a major reputation of putting, DBs into the NFL. That has not changed since he's been at Pitt. Talk about what those two guys mean, Archie Collins and Corey Sanders. I mean, they're incredibly intelligent, someone that knows the game. Everyone knows them as great recruiters, but talk about their coaching style and how they push you guys. And what is it like in a day-to-day practice with those two guys?
Coach Sanders and Coach Collins is arguably the best coaches I've ever been coached by. Being a DB, those guys are amazing, man. They put you in places to make plays on the ball. It's just a great feeling just being around them inside the building. So full of energy from both of those guys. Just want to see their players be successful in everything, not just even football, off the field. I say we got the best coaches because they care about what we do more than off the field, more than we do on the field. Because one thing my Coach Collins always told me, you do everything right off the field, everything else on the field to take care of itself. So, we instill that into each and every DB, Coach Collins and Coach Sanders, they make sure they instill it in us each and every day. Just going out on the field as well, just being coached by them, the high intensity they have, the competitiveness they have as well. They like to see us compete each and every day. And the most important thing I love about those two is no matter what play you don't make, they expect you to make that play. So with that being said, they want you to be great as you can. It's never no excuse on nothing. We feel like you can make the play. That's why we're here at the University of Pittsburgh.
And that's incredible to hear too, just because of how well they push you guys, but just the high level that you guys have for each other. And a lot of teams don't have that. Their cultures aren't like that. I think the culture in general of what you guys have built is second to none. The amount of pride and respect that you've brought back to the University of Pittsburgh, especially for football, it's got to be something. And before I get into the last year, obviously one of the bigger games, the Backyard Brawl, talk about what it's like when you're on the South Side and you guys got Dan Marino walking around, Aaron Donald, in my opinion, when you look at his numbers, possibly the greatest defensive player to ever play the game.
Yes.
What is that like? What is it like to have that many legendary alumni just in the facility, and you guys can bounce stuff and ideas off each other like that?
It's very motivating. You just walk inside the facility, you see greats inside your locker room. You see greats inside the weight room, the training room. It's a blessing just seeing Aaron Donald and the rest of the greats and the rest of the guys that was here in the previous years. It's just a blessing seeing those guys. It's a bittersweet moment. I'd be overly excited because like the guys that's in the league now was just with us, was just playing with us, And as a kid growing up, that's always a dream to make it there. And everybody, the whole world know how hard it is to make it to the NFL, 1%. So, you got to be happy for the guys that, God blessed to be able to be in that position today. And just seeing Aaron Donald and everybody else around the facility is just like maybe one day, deep down in your heart that, you will be in their shoes, you will be in their footsteps, just watching everything they do around the facility, how they take care of their body, or the small details of what he's doing in the weight room or what he's doing on the field. I watch Aaron Donald, he's not in my position, and I feel like I learned a plethora of things from just watching him, just my habits, how to prepare, and a plethora of things like that. So I say it's a blessing. It's very motivating. And I can't thank God enough for, putting me in this position.
And it's so cool to see those guys, especially when you're behind closed doors to see you guys. But last year, obviously, the return of the Backyard Brawl. I was lucky enough to be at that game to watch you guys win that game, 38-31. The return of the Backyard Brawl against the West Virginia Mountaineers. And I'll tell you what, I've been going to Pitt games since I was a really young kid, and I'm 28 years old now. The return of that and watching College Game Day that was there, the hype around the city, how everyone was proudly wearing Pitt uniform, just Pitt gear in general. I mean, I work downtown on Grand Street, and the amount of guys during that week that were wearing Pitt gear was absolutely insane. Talk about, you see the James Connors, the Tyler Boyds, all them guys are there. But talk about what that game meant to you guys, because obviously it's a physical game. I mean, I'm in the club level. I can hear the pads hitting, man, and you can hear each other going back and forth.
Yeah.
Talk about what that rivalry means and how much it hypes you guys up. And what was that challenge like facing the West Virginia Mountaineers?
It was great. We was waiting for this game. I think it took longer than we expected. You know, we was that's all we was talking about in the off season is West Virginia, West Virginia, West Virginia, West Virginia. You know, we was doing workouts in a weight room, and our strength conditioning coach is playing a West Virginia song. You know, just you know,
Yeah.
just making us mad. You know, just hearing that song every day is just mind blowing. Just putting something in our head, like yeah, like we got to go out here and accomplish this. Like we got to really go out here and do what we got to do to and send them back to Morgantown. So it was so long waiting on that game, but when it finally came, um, I say we wasn't worrying about the atmosphere that was out there. We was very dialed in. We was ready to, do what we love to do, and that's to play football. Um, and it was great. You know, we came out victorious. I had the script fumble. MJ with the game
Hmm.
game saving interception that'll go down for life. Um, so man, it was great. We looking forward. We definitely looking forward to it this year. Ready to go to Morgantown. They better be ready. And just
I'm
don't
I'm
throw
I'm
don't throw
telling
the
you this, man.
game.
It's a different gear, and obviously, it's different. You talked about the weight. The first game of the year, I feel like the preparation's got to be extremely difficult, more than it would be like a game two or game three, because they had a new offensive coordinator at the time. They're working in different coaches. Obviously, they haven't had much success recently. But when you guys are getting ready for that first game, the first game of the year, is it difficult to get ready and get ready for that? One, it's a Power Five game. You're not like the SEC where they're facing Chattanooga. In the first game of the year, you guys are facing a Power Five rival opponent first game of the year. Talk about what that preparation's like, because you guys are coming out of camp. Just yeah, are you guys able to turn that on and just, man, you were ready to get after it, and just talk about what that preparation was like?
We was ready to get after it. But one thing Coach Dudes always taught us, and Coach Junko, never get too high, never get too low. That's what we was doing the whole entire time. We was getting ready, um, not doing too much trash talking. We wasn't doing. We were just ready to play football. Like I said, the game lasted so long to the point like we was saying like, is the backyard brawl ever gonna get here? Like it was taking forever. And then it was a night game, so we had to wake up in the morning and wait all the way to the night. It was just mind blowing, man. We a lot of pit tough guys over here. We be ready to go. With the preparation, I think we prep perfect. Coming out of camp as well. But it's always gonna be adversity, and the little bumps in the road each game. But definitely the first game, you still filling out everything, and you're trying to see which plays work and a plethora of things like that. But yeah, we got after them, and we're gonna get after them this year too. So tell them they can't run.
I was going to say, man, it's, West Virginia has to prepare hard, because you guys are a tough team to begin with. And everyone around college football knows, man, it's like a dogfight when you face Pitt, because it's a Pat Narduzzi team. Everyone that ever knows Pat Narduzzi he's going to make sure his team is prepared physically. One, to make sure they're shaped up. They're going to be able to stop the run, and they're going to be
Definitely.
physical. That's what that game's about, baby. And I'll
Yes,
tell you
sir.
this, watching that game and you guys getting after it, one, it was a proud moment just to watch how well you guys played in that game and took care of business. And just seeing the pride around Pittsburgh, man. When around here, man, it's a big thing. I mean, it's like beating Penn State. It's the same thing. It's a hardcore rivalry game. And when you look at those games, obviously, what's the mindset right now? Obviously, I know you guys face Wofford in game one, Cincinnati in game two. You'll have the Backyard Brawl game three this year. It'll be a night game on ABC. What's like the mentality of what you guys would go into, where it's a hostile environment? You're going down to Morgantown, West Virginia. Talk about what that's like, just the mentality, or just in general. When you go into a hostile environment like that, or you're on the road, what do you guys do mentally just to get prepared for that? And how do you guys attack it and really play lights out on the road, as you guys have done?
To be honest, we love going on the road. We love playing on the road. I think we play better on the road. Each and everybody love going to different atmospheres just to see the stadium, just to see how things is. But it's always just put your headphones in, put your music in. Everybody get ready different. So just putting your music in, or however you prepare for the game. I could say the bus ride was very quiet. the first ride was very quiet over to Heinz Stadium.
Hmm.
It was very quiet. You could tell everybody was ready to go. Everybody was out there, and everybody wanted to, everybody wanted to eat West
Yeah.
Virginia. Yeah, we wanted to eat them. So yeah, it was a blessing just being in the backyard brawl, just running out there, just seeing all the fans, and that was the biggest college game I ever been in my life. It was so big. It was sold out. It was full of superstars there. It was full of NFL scouts there. It was a plethora of people to play for that day. So and moving to Wofford, we don't take nobody like, we're gonna play Wofford, how we gonna play Cincinnati, how we gonna play West Virginia. We play
Hmm.
everybody the same. Ain't no cutting no corners, ain't no taking it easy on nobody. So when on Pitt Panthers, you got Pitt Panthers on your schedule, just be ready.
And I can tell you this: you talk about just three of those teams right there. If you had, well, I'll just got a couple more questions before we get to the fan ones, and there's some good fan questions here because I obviously want to take care of your time, especially. You know, what team right now, if you could say, obviously, I know every game's important, and I love that comment from you, just how every team, every team's the same. It doesn't matter. You're not letting up on anybody. That's how Pitt football is. If there's one team that you look at on the schedule and you say, man, I cannot wait to face that team this year, what team would that be for you?
Florida State is circled. They got to come to Pittsburgh. They got to come up here to the cold. But we ain't worried about that. They supposedly be the toughest team in the ACC. They was good last year. They got a plethora of good receivers over there that I love to step in front of. And it's Florida State. It's circled. It's circled on my calendar. Everybody else, get to handle the same way. But Florida State definitely circled on my calendar, and I can't wait.
Yep, and that was certainly a discussion and a topic where I was on a couple of shows recently where everyone has Florida State and Clemson up at the top, and then you have Pitt third and everyone else hovering. I can tell you this: do you guys take that as a slight? I mean, heck, I understand Kenny Pickett went to the draft, was a former Heisman. You lost a couple different guys, especially Taysier Mack, guys like that on the outside. When you guys went into the 2022 season, now you're going into 2023. You've won 20 games. You've won 20 games in 2 years. Do you guys ever feel like slighted to where how are we not getting more looks? How are we not getting more conversation when we've won 20 games in 2 years? We've been ranked back-to-back years. Pitt football is a much different place than it was 10 years ago. It's a pretty damn elite program right now. When it comes to just the media, the lack of media hype, does it motivate you, bother you guys? It's just, what's the team atmosphere around that?
It bother and motivate us, but I say, it motivate us more than it bother us, because everybody know Pitt always been the underdog. Even in the ACC championship, they had us underdogs with Kenny Pickett, Jordan Addison, like really. But
Yeah.
it's always they always underestimating Pitt. Each and every year we got to come out and show them. So we don't be too much worried about being bothered by all the social media stuff, because at the end of the day, everybody got to put their pads on and come out on the field and show and live up to what everybody talking about. So we love being the underdogs. We can't wait for this season.
And that's fantastic. And just the mentality to hear when you talk about just how that just motivates you guys and it makes you guys work harder. Just really any former Pitt player would just loves to hear that. Just the physicality, how you guys don't care who you're facing. And it kind of brought back like that moment then when Rodney Hammond was on the podium and he said, right after the Clemson game, you guys beat Clemson at home. And, Tim Benz asked that question and Rodney Hammond goes, hey, we're Pitt. We're not scared of nobody. We're dogs. It's a different world, man. You guys are just different dudes. You're built different. That's just what it means to play at Pitt.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to go to the fan questions. All right. Because I had to pull back a couple of my questions because there's some good questions here.
Okay.
And let me tell you, to the Pitt fans, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, especially when we drop this later tonight. You're going to love this conversation. Marquez, again, just is incredible with the knowledge in general and talking about what Pitt football really is. And we're going to get to the questions again. Thank you to the fans for even on short notice giving the questions. These are very good, and we're going to give the handles out. So the ones I selected, these are great questions. So for the first one, really off of Twitter and Facebook. This one's off Twitter. Johnny Lawrence Marquez wants to know regarding not that one. Derek Berkheimer. Which wide receiver is going to really step up this year and shock Pitt fans? So I know we talked a little bit about wide receivers that have been there, guys that have you've faced, and you've said how great those guys are. Is there one guy that wasn't here last year or maybe didn't have the greatest year they wanted to? Who do you think could really break out this year is what Derek's trying to figure out?
Bud Means. I feel like Bud Means could have a 1,000+ yard year. He's big, he's fast, he's like a DK Metcalf. But faster. He had a good season last year. I think he have a better season this year. You know, it's just everything you want out of a receiver. Everything you want out of a big receiver. Could drop his hips. Could do anything. Could beat one-on-one coverage. Could go up for the ball with two people on him. You know, you don't see that. You don't see that too often around the ACC, around the country. So I think Bud Means gonna have a great season, and I can't wait to witness it.
It's so cool to hear you say that because obviously Pat Narduzzi and Frank Signetti had talked about that as well. You know, Bub comes over from last year from Louisiana Tech. You know, in my opinion, has a good year last year at Pitt. Maybe not the one that he would have liked, but I think that the fact that he's done this well and it's just earned the respect of you guys to be that leader in that room, that's a huge thing. And I think Bub is going to have a heck of a year too. So it's really cool to hear you, Frank Signetti, and Pat Narduzzi all on the same wavelength.
Great minds think.
You got to tell Dudes that one. He'll be all mad. Another one from Derek that I thought was really good. It seems like, and this is actually a really cool question. I didn't realize it until I did a little bit of research on it. It seems like you are really good friends with Lamar Jackson with your time down in Florida. Can you explain to us Pitt fans what that relationship is like? Are you close to Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, that's my childhood friend. You know, we're from the same area, Pompano Beach, Florida. You know, I'm 24, he's 26. We grew up literally grew up in the same neighborhood, from the same area. Could call him. He get great advice. You know, and just he's a great player, you know, a great person to be around as well. Never tell you no wrong. Always gonna tell you what's good. When I was first coming out of college, and you know, I talked to him, and he one of the reasons why, you know, I made one of my small decisions. You know, I talked to him about a couple of things, you know, and he was able to tell me. That's when he was at Louisville with Bobby Petrino, and that's when, you know, he put me on game about a lot of stuff in college. And still to this day, I talk to him. You know, I could hit him up, I could text him, he'll reply. You know, we childhood friends. You know, that'll never go nowhere. So yeah, to all the fans, Lamar is like a real close friend, and the bond is very, very close.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, especially, he's been on your Twitter, but then, you've really been on his Twitter as well. And it's been kind of cool to see some of the workouts that you guys do and how intense it is. It was so cool when he brought that question up. I had to go back and look. And I'm like, man, that is pretty sick how you're able to have that relationship and didn't even know you guys were that close of friends, especially growing up in the same neighborhood. That's unique in itself.
Yes, sir.
Pitt fam 3412. We know the top three corners, and we talked about this a little bit before, but just to rehash it, obviously the top three, you, MJ Devonshire, AJ Woods. Again, just what do you think the fourth and fifth guy right now, if someone that you needed to step up right now in that cornerback room, who do you think that third, or the fourth or fifth or sixth guy could be?
No order, but Battle, Rylan Gandy, Noah Bigelow, and Chamarius Crumpley. You know, those are very great guys. They very young, but this spring ball, you can see the improvement from all the young guys. You know, they got more reps than the starters. You know, spring balls to show what you could do, because once you get to camp, we get the roll, and then we really going with the guys, the best 11 guys out there. So I feel like they had a great spring, and I feel like the coaches gained more trust in them. And I feel like if they had to go in, we had a game tomorrow, and they had to go in, they'll be ready. They know the calls, they know the checks. They pit tough, come down and tackle, very physical. So they ready whenever they number call, and those are my young bulls. So I can't wait to see them get out there on the field and see the crowd and let them feel how I feel to be on that field. It's a blessing.
Another question from this one is from Mike Porosky. Obviously, this year, you're going to have a different quarterback. Phil Dracovic comes in from Boston College, had worked with Frank Signetti up at Boston College when their time was there before Frank came here. One of the things that Mike wants to know is what's the leadership style? How, has it been a great thing since he's gotten here with you guys? How's he fit in with the team? Does he push you guys? How well is that relationship going with a new quarterback this year, and especially being a guy from Pittsburgh?
Phil, a great guy. He's still getting comfortable with everybody being around him. He's not that talkative as of now. I think, getting closer and closer to the season, I think he'll be more vocal. He is starting to talk a little bit more than he was when he first got here. Phil is a great guy. His locker like 2 or 3 lockers away from mine. Great guy. Great mentality, always, full of energy and always, ready to talk to you. And one thing about him, he always willing to learn. He been the first to the facility, last out the facility, up there getting the offense together, the receivers together, make sure they watching film. They go out there and throw every single day. I never seen a day that they missed of not throwing. They go out there and throw every day, the quarterback, the receiver, every single day. So, you could tell he's been a great leader on that side of the ball, and we can't wait. Sky's the limit for those guys.
And that's incredible to hear, especially just it's like a Kenny Pickett almost, man. Those guys don't miss, and I feel like when you have that type of leadership in a quarterback, man, you're able to do a bunch of different things, and just to hear those guys throwing is really good to hear. I bet you Mike's gonna be happy to hear that. Another question, this one from Put Pitt in. Any specific, and this is actually a pretty good question because there's obviously a ton of good wide receivers in the ACC. Is there any specific wide receiver you are excited to face this year, whether it's in the ACC or the out-of-conference schedule? Is there one guy that kind of sticks out, or maybe even a couple of different guys that stick out on the schedule that you're excited to challenge yourself and really go against the best?
Honestly, I don't take nobody lightly. I prepare each and every week like I'm going up against, DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, or somebody like that. So, I prepare the same each and every week. No matter who you is, I step in front of you and treat you like the same. Because you never know, like, you may think somebody don't, ain't gonna give you that work, and they really do. So, you gotta always be on your P's and Q's, always be ready to go, and never go to sleep. As we preach over here, it's called never go to sleep. If you're not getting no targets, never go to sleep. Go put your head, in the tackle. Go run to the ball. Go get your leverage on the pile. So it's a plethora of things we preach, and it's a blessing just to do it.
And one, it's good to hear. Just you're always putting your head somewhere. You're always doing something. That's just why it's just one of the unique things about the Pitt defense to begin with. Pickett Believer here has from Pickett Believer. Who are some freshman standouts, whether it's from offense or defense, from the spring camp, that you think is going to be a player that could potentially play a little bit in the 2020 and the 2023 season?
I think Israel Pope, Seymour. It's a lot of offensive guys that'll play. I say on the defensive side, we don't got no first year freshmen that
Yeah.
could go out there and play over all of the talent and all of the experience that's out there on defense right now. But you never know who could come in, and you never know who that guy may be if somebody go down, Lord's willing. So you always got to be ready. Like I said, never get too low, never get too high, and make sure you preparing as just like everybody else throughout the week. Because when your number calls, you got to be ready to go. They're gonna go with somebody else.
So here's another question, and I thought about this as well because obviously it's different. You're a father now, and sometimes that kind of stuff changes your mind on some things. And Big E97 wants to know, how does the birth of your daughter change your perception of what the game of football means to you?
Man, is I don't think is unexplainable. That little girl is my why. She the reason I do everything I do. I think when I step on the field, and I, think about her, it's all or nothing. It brings me so much fuel, so much motivation to win my matchup. Just thinking about my daughter. Um, I want to give her the best life possible. I never want to tell her no, and I always want to be in her life. And playing football right now, and hopefully one day I could get to the next level to be able to give her the life she deserves, and just make sure she's okay for the rest of her life. I love that little girl. Without her is no me. She groomed me into a better father today. I love her so much. I appreciate her mom. It took both of us to have her. I appreciate her mom as well. And it's a blessing just to see my baby, just to FaceTime her and see her face. I get, it's a bittersweet moment. I get very happy when I see her, and it just give me a feeling in my body, a whole different feeling when I walk out there on the field, because I know who I'm playing for, and I know I can't let her down and never will.
And right there, Pitt fans, just tells you, like I said, high character. And right now, 10 out of 10, one of the best dads out there. You can't answer that question any better than that. So tells you a lot about Marquez to begin with. So another question here. B. Nick, what does another ACC championship mean to the program and to you if it was achieved this year, especially your senior year?
I think it means everything. It means everything first and foremost for the university, for the fans, for the ADs, for the Pitt students, everybody around the university. It just mean the world to us to, go out here and chase another ACC championship and try to accomplish it the best way we can. But man, if we bring back another ACC championship for this university, I think it'll be mind blowing. Um, I think it'll be great for the upcoming younger guys in their near future. I think it'll be great for the seniors and the super seniors that's coming out. I think that'll give us a great look, great recognition from everywhere we need to be. And for myself, an ACC championship will just be mean everything to me. I want to cherish it with my teammates, with my coaches. Um, without them, without them, it's not possible. I'm a very, very, very great team guy. Very, very characterized player. So whatever we win together, I want to celebrate it together with my teammates. And I think we're gonna take it one day at a time. And I definitely, I feel strong about us going to the ACC championship and winning it again for the fans. It'll be everything for the city. Everything you could think of. Just bringing another ACC championship back, and most importantly, I think it'll get the Steelers fueled as well. Because going through the season, we was fueling off the Steelers as well. I don't know if it was the same on their end, but us being younger guys, just looking at the Steelers each week, each Sunday, just want to be great, just like those guys. And I think it brought us a long way. And I can't wait to chase this ACC championship with the guys.
And it's kind of cool. It leads into really another question that it comes from Jeff Ferruza. You look at the ACC championship game, but Jeff here wants to know, what is something that you plan to work on this year that'll make you jump to that next level, the NFL level? What's something that you're working on right now?
My tackling. I'm a smaller guy. They gonna always say that, when we get to the next level or when we get to the training and the pro days and the combines and stuff like that. So, I'm just working on tackling and, gaining some more weight. Right now, I'm 175. All muscle, I'm feeling good. All the previous years, I was playing at like 170, 160,
Really?
but nobody knew. But I'm just going out there with our heart and playing football, and you can't tell the difference when you're doing that. So I'm feeling bigger, I'm feeling faster, I'm feeling stronger. And sky's the limit for me this year. I'm gonna go get me 5 to 6 interceptions, and I'm gonna come up and tackle. I'm gonna do what I got to do, and I'm gonna show the world why I deserve that recognition around the country.
And again, that's pretty cool to hear that one just playing it that way. You'd have never known. I mean, to be honest with you, I think you're tackling to begin with. You're a guy that does very well, in my personal opinion, with tackling.
Mhm.
Obviously, your cover skills, the amount of times you were able to get interceptions. I thought the one that you read between Virginia and Western Michigan. I mean, you had some pretty damn good interceptions because you're able. I mean, I don't know if it's watching film or what you're doing, but let me
Watching.
tell you something. It's like you're reading. It's almost like the play. It was kind of funny that Bill Hillgrove talked about it. It's like, does Marquez does he know the play? Because it's almost like he jumped it perfectly. It was perfect every time.
Mhm.
So talk about that. What goes into that film study?
The film study, like I said, Coach Connors and Coach Sanders, they give us, great stuff throughout the week. Tuesday through Friday leading up to the game. It's never something they told me that was wrong in the game. And I take that very serious. I think listening to your coaching is very, very important when you're going out there on the field. Because, coaches, they've been in coaching college 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, it ain't too many route concepts or too many other different things that they haven't seen yet. So, listening to your coach is very, very, very important, when you're playing college ball, and just being where your feet at. Make sure you everywhere where your feet at, and never talk too loud to the point you can't back it up. I live by that. Never talk too loud to the point you can't back it up.
Hmm.
That's why I talk the way I talk. I feel like I could back everything up, and anybody coming at me, or I'm ready for it, and I can't wait to face anybody, any and everybody that feel like I got a smart mouth and can't back it up. I'm gonna show you all year.
Well, just two more questions here, and I think it finishes it really well. And I'm going to save the last this one question for the last one. But I think one of the questions here: what's the team's goals this year? Is it just the ACC? Are you guys looking at the college football playoff? What's the team goal for this year? The team's goals, I should say.
Me honestly, just the other day, I talked to the whole team like after we got done running outside. It was just we reached the ACC championship already. These was my words to the team. We reached the ACC championship already. Sky's the limit. Let's go to the playoffs. Let's go to the national championship level. Let's all come together and just be one. It's like I told them. The ACC championship is right in front of us. We could definitely accomplish it. The schedule we got, the teams we play, it's no doubt in our mind that we're gonna be in the ACC championship this year, and we don't plan on losing no games. We don't plan on losing no games. So, we're gonna take you all the way down. You got to play 4 quarters of football this year with the Pitt Panthers, and we can't wait.
I can tell you this, Pitt fans are going to love to hear that, but they're not going to be surprised, that you've been to the ACC championship game. It's just it's the evolution of just who you guys are.
Mm-hmm.
Just you guys are different breeds, man. It's hey, we got here this year. It's really really good, but we can go here next year. And the Pitt fans are just going to love to hear that because it's not going to be anything different than they expected.
Yep.
To take that next step, that's just who you guys are. But then again, that's why you're winners. You
Yep.
know, the teams that are in the middle of the pack, whether the ACC or the Big Ten or the SEC, they're not talking about that kind of stuff. They're talking about, okay, maybe, hey, we'll go to this bowl game, we'll get to one of the better bowl games. You guys are already talking about the bigger picture, which is really the AC championship game, but now the college football playoff. But that's why you guys are winners.
Yep.
And lastly, the last question here, which I thought was a great question. Let's see here. Where did I have it here? Oh, last one from B. Nick. He had a ton of good questions here. What do you think your legacy at Pitt's going to be?
I think my legacy gonna be walking out of here with a Jim Thorpe award. I'm chasing that this year. Only way I don't get it if they rob me with no badge on. Uh, I'm definitely chasing that Jim Thorpe award. My uncle Tyrone Carter, he did it at University of Minnesota. He won a Jim Thorpe award. Just an inch taller than me. Same heart I got. So sky's the limit, and anything is possible. So I strongly believe I'm gonna get that Jim Thorpe this year, and I'm gonna go up inside that indoor facility on the walls, next to one of those greats. I want to be all around the facility. First team. I want to make first team all ACC. I want to be on every big board it is this year, and it start from one day at a time, day by day, and keeping God first, and most importantly, just keeping God first. He come first. Without him, nothing's possible. So, you keep God first and continue to strive for mountain high, and you will get mountain high. And I can't wait. I can't wait.
Well, I can tell you this, from a Pitt fan's perspective, your legacy is someone who is strong in his faith, a guy that is incredible with people. You're a guy that, you talk to people on social media. I think sometimes, from the amount of people that have DM'd me in general, when you specifically, when you reach out to different fans and have a conversation, you never seem like you're bigger than the game. You're always a guy that's so humble. Again, a great father, a guy that just continually wants to help people, and a guy that's competitive, a leader, a great person. I think that's the legacy that you'll leave here, and that's the definition of what a Pitt man really is. So again, Marquez, I can't thank you enough for joining the podcast today. This is going to be a big one. And to all the Pitt fans, again, please subscribe to the channel because you'll get notified whenever episode like this drops or another player interview drops. We have another hometown hero segment, another player coming on. So again, Marquez, thank you so much. Is there any type of foundations or anything like that you have that you want to tell Pitt fans to take a look at, or any other social media sites that you have that you want to have Pitt fans take a look at?
Instagram m.williams14 _ Facebook Marquez Williams, Twitter Williams Island 14, TikTok Williams Island 14. You know, I'm all over. So you know, you could come find me anywhere. I do respond to all my fans. I try to be the best I can by responding. You know, and I'm gonna do better. Starting today, start replying to more people. Um, Mr. JJ Kitchen, I appreciate you for having me on here. Can't wait to be on here again. This is definitely a bittersweet moment. No, I enjoyed my time, talking and communicating with you today. I definitely learned a few things from you as well. Once again, I appreciate you. Sky's the limit, man. Pompano Beach, Florida, I'm holding it down, for my hometown, and sky's the limit. See y'all soon.
I'll tell you what, guys, it doesn't get any better than that. And Marquez, I can promise this, you'll definitely be back on. Again, Pitt fans, thank you for your time. And as always and forever, hail to Pitt. I appreciate you guys.